Hello, welcome to our channel Zigzag Sailing, where you will be joining myself, Katie, and my partner Alex as we cruise down south to avoid hurricanes with our two staffies, Jasmine and Momo. Alex built this boat in 4 years on the island of St. John out of wood, fiberglass, and epoxy. We launched her back in January of 2024 and are so ready to share this journey with you guys. If you haven't already, check out our boat tour video where we show you more little fine details as well as our building video. We appreciate any and all support, guys, so please remember to comment, like, subscribe, do that thing. And in this episode, you'll be joining us as we go down the leeward side of Martinique, and we'll show you some finer details of how we go about our everyday lives. It's a little bit different than the conventional land life, but we so love it. And you'll also get a little taste of Martinique. So they have this thing called Yule racing that's absolute madness. We left you guys in the town of St. Pierre in Martinique, which we have now departed and are headed down south.
Okay, this is one of our lures that we bought. 2 hooks staggered. And we got the little hand line. Well, this has a little lead thing in its head too.
And if we catch something, we're gonna
reel
put on
it
the
in.
glove, yeah.
But this will, you like reel it in with this, you know, it's just like a reel with a rod, but you have it on your hand.
Yeah.
We used to have these when we were really little kids, and we would just put plain hooks on them, and then we'd go to the charter dock, and we'd go and like, there would be like a whole school of fish, and you just like jerk up on the hook really fast, and you hook it into a fish anywhere. They wouldn't bite on the hook, you just like jig them.
Sometimes our showers look like this. Especially if you've been working with fiberglass all day. Alright, if you're a cruiser and don't know about this yet, you need to check out No 4 on Land. And no, this is not a sponsored ad, I just really like this app. So basically you can move your sailboat with their GPS on the map, and you can also follow other sailboats or have all of these resources, things to do on land that you can see. So basically like dinghy docks, restaurants, places to get water, bus stops, free showers, and a lot of other good stuff. So definitely check it out if you need to, and enjoy these little street art murals that I found in the city of Fort-de-France. Our morning routine with Jasmine and Momo. They wake up around 6:30 every day, and they kind of just hang out until around 7:30 when we give them their breakfast that we store in the stern hatch. No water gets in there so far. Everything seems pretty bug-free, dry, all of that good stuff, and they kind of wait for it. They like to eat before the walk so they can kind of do their business on the walk. And it seems to be working so far. And after they eat, Alex sets one of them up to go on a solo walk. So we find that the solo walks are helping between like the separation anxiety, since I'm gonna say something about the prong collar, but man, I was so against these things until I saw the magic at work. And if you're properly trained on how to use them, it doesn't inflict any harm on the dogs. And we put little rubber covers on the prongs, so they really don't seem to mind it. We were just awoken by the cops. We are leaving Fort-de-France. There is a Yule race today.
I want anybody to be in the harbor when the race finishes in Port-de-France. Sick the cops on everybody.
Didn't even have coffee. Alex is naked, and he is just like, if you don't leave, Alex is like, we're leaving!
They go from one place to another around the entire island of Martinique. It takes them 7 days. Day sailing to get around the whole island.
Created several centuries ago, the Martinique Yule reflected the importance of traditional boats in this area. Crew members must perch off the side of the hull on these long poles in order to balance the boat, requiring a lot of agility, engagement, and coordination. During the 1950s and 60s, and other types of traditional boats became obsolete whenever with motors and gradually suppressed the tradition. Over the years, the safeguarding program has gradually expanded to be supported by organizations like UNESCO. So we're using this time while we're motoring to clean out our composting toilet, which we are using strategies to minimize flies. We've been having to clean it almost every other day. So we use lots of salt water, soap. We do number 2 in, and we dump that on land. And then we have basically both the bucket and the, let's call it a pea jug, fit into that carbon fiber section, and it works. It's nothing like a fancy $1,000 composting toilet that you get online. We found that the main component that they're selling you is to prevent, you know, flies from happening. She's a royal throne worthy of us.
I think when we're close to cities where flies can come easily, like there was no flies in the actual poop compartment. There was just flies on the outside of that, inside there, and it's just dark and nice for them to be in there, I guess.
Yeah, but we've learned to keep this hole pretty clean, so it's only bathroom supplies that go in here.
So everybody seems to think that you need some kind of complex system to run your autopilot on these boats, but if you have the sails well balanced, your autopilot just needs to correct your course very slightly. And so this setup that we have has been working. And we've tested it upwind, we've tested it downwind, we've tested on a reach. As long as your sails are set well, you can just attach the autopilot in a convenient location and it still has a good leverage to turn the rudder. Whereas if you put it close to the back, it would have bad leverage and it would eventually wear out your autopilot.
We just anchored. This is hard to see, but the colorful sails are all the Yule racers. Okay, Momo hates jet skiers, and anytime they come near the boat, he gets really upset with them. So we have 2 coming right here. It's okay, bud. It's okay. We just have a 5 horsepower on the engine, so if I were to go with him, he would lose some speed, and then probably these breaking waves would come into the dinghy. So I'm just glad it's him. I'm okay with watching with my binoculars from out here, really.
That's an unreal chaos.
Does it affect the sailing?
Yeah, of course.
Insane weight.
I was like, I'm gonna get to the back where nobody is, and then a whole another string of people started coming down the line. I was like, there is no getting to a good viewpoint of this thing.
Yeah.
And how can they possibly be racing these boats with all these people racing around next to them in power boats? The real race is all the power boats getting from one point of land to the other, not the sailing.
After staying a couple nights in Anse-la-Anne, we decided to go over to Les Trois Îlets, which is meaning of 3 islands. It's really close by, and it was 3.8 nautical miles on the chart. We decided just to motor because it was a light wind day. We can see the bottom.
Well, this is why we do. This is why we have this boat.
Yeah.
We can get it in the little spots.
Yeah. We got our laundry. I don't have enough fresh water to do it myself, or else I totally would do it myself, but
That's bullshit.
he thinks it's bullshit, but it's not, because I have done it by myself. But this water isn't the cleanest. So this dock is a ferry dock, technically. Yeah, it's been on strike.
For supposedly a very long time, 6 months or so.
Yeah. So typically dinghies aren't allowed to be here. There's another dinghy right there, so. We actually pulled up on the muddy shore the past day, but it was really low tide and we don't want to hit our dinghy. Going underneath the dock, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is the laundromat, the Lavery-Linge.
So we have tried to keep the holes that we drilled here to a minimum. So we bought this extendable tiller extension that has a bolt on the end of it, and we're going to cut off this entire little bracket because it has a hole right there. I don't know how to get that off, so I'm just going to cut through this plastic bit and then put my lashing through that hole to the tiller bar behind me. Here. Now we've cut the bolt off. We're just left with this little eyelet and some little plastic bits that I can just turn around. I'm just going to carve these little plastic bits down a bit so that they're not so sharp and pointy. And we'll see what that looks like. Things here that I carved away and then super glued it into place. That used to be where the actual attachment point was that would swivel back and forth, but now we've just attached it with a lashing here and done a bunch of half hitches around the tiller here just for good measure. And you can now sit here, let the tiller chill out, and it goes back and forth. Even though it's tied down pretty rigidly, it goes back and forth significantly fine. It kind of tilts the extension a little bit, or it tilts the tiller bar a little bit, but that's fine.
And he could also sit on the other side of the cockpit, which I think is kind of nice.
When you tack, you go to the other side.
Yeah.
Sit right here, rest it on Momo.
Because before,
Steer back and forth.
Jasmine's afraid of it. Because before we were always stuck like in this little corner seat if we had to steer, and this helps us not to be stuck in the corner.
And we also had to like reach back, even though you're sitting in the back of the boat, you still have to reach backwards and turn your body forwards to actually grab the tiller bar like this.
Which hurts your back after a while.
With the extension, you can just use that, and you can turn it a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
Too. Then we can just retract it and leave it right there.
Good morning.
Let your 2 feet out a bit more.
Yeah. Jasmine's laying on her jib. So we are sailing to Marin today. It's about a 20-mile sail. Tomorrow there's 30 knots of wind, so we're gonna be hiding out there. We're gonna be trying to get in contact with a vet for an import permit for Grenada.
And even if we send them the health certificate right before we start sailing there, I think that they'll be fine with that. But we have plenty of time.
Yeah, the health certificate is only valid for 3 weeks, so we're trying to time it properly for when we're gonna depart Martinique. Gonna attempt to make it all the way to Grenada, find a big enough weather window so we don't have to be stopping.
Katie wants to stop, but I'm kind of pushing to not stop. It's only, I think it's only about 30 hours from here to Grenada. Friends are doing a straight shot from Guadeloupe to Grenada right now, so we figured that we could make it too.
There's an irrational fear of mine of sailing at night, but winds are notoriously very calm. Yeah, they're better at night, so just kind of have to rip more of the band-aid off. Show you what's going on.
I'm still not sure if we should take it close to the point of land or take it far away to get around. It seems like everybody is taking it far away.
We are headed upwind
To Marin.
That kind of rhymes.
You can sort of see where the land hooks around up there. That's where we're going.
These are called sugar loaves.
That's just what they call the mountains that look like that in Brazil. Sugarloaf Mountain.
Yeah. Got our autopilot going.
Yeah. My hands. Trying to get around this point is difficult.
Yeah, we tacked a couple times.
A lot of people are just putting their sails down. Oh my god. They're like in my mouth. What's going on, Katie? Will they get to a point where they can put their sails back up again, but I don't really like motoring directly into the wind. Sucks.
Waste of gas.
And on our boat, it really sucks.
Yeah.
Just go slow when we're just pitching into the wind, and we're like reefed heavily, so that's why we're going pretty slow too.
We thought this would be a 4-hour sail, but it's more like an 8-hour sail. But this sugar loaf is so freaking cool. Outside all these channel markers is extremely shallow water. Some of it gets up to like 0 feet. far enough away from the pirate ship.
Yeah. For us to swing, but I didn't think about both of us swinging randomly.
Yeah. We left at 8 a.m. It feels like 5. Maybe after 5 right now. But it's so beautiful. So while we were sailing, our coffee pot was full of coffee and coffee grounds, and it just got everywhere. So great after sailing for so long. Throwing away stuff. And the icing on the cake was we put Momo inside whenever there was a wing foiler. Momo started barking, so we put him inside. Peed right on our bed right here. So we just stripped the sheets. We got some Febreze up in here. Yeah, we're pissed at Momo. But glad we made it.
It's very oily. I didn't really think about that before.
Yeah. Gross.
Oh, yeah, you're passing a Berkey too. It looks like it's got underneath it.
But it needs to be dumped. Get the filter out before you dump it. Shit. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Join us next week for our journey down to St. Lucia, as well as St. Vincent, and then hopefully the Grenadines. We appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to do that thing. See you next week.